Good morning, all. Hello, Jay and Amy, Sluggo. Hello, Paul. Hello, Totally Awesome, the Rain Man. Hello, Mr. Patton. Hello, Turd Ferg, Red Canary. Hello, Jason. Hello, Blake Smith. My man Kevin in the house. And Nico. Hello, Honey Dear. I like that one. Hello, Honey Dear. Hello, Rick. Hoops, Shelly, Mel of Hess TV. Let's see. Walking Stick said they're using Kuwait as a template for Iraq's monetary reform. They don't want them to make the same mistake they did in Kuwait. Do you agree? Yes, with a twist. And man, did they drop the big one on the twist today. Something I've been telling you guys about for like 5 years, almost 6 years since they offed it. And we get to see the execution. They drop it today. You guys have heard me talk about it. I haven't heard many others talk about it, well, pretty much ever. So when I saw it pop in the news today, I was like, woohoo! Because they laid the groundwork. They told us years ago, and we are seeing it. Fun stuff. Good. Yes, General 64 is still active. They're still there. For the most part, great group of ladies leading the group now, keeping it organized, have been key in that effort. No, they're not adding any more names. Yes, if they decide to, I will let you folks know. Do I think it's going to change how much you receive? No. Do I think it could possibly help you get an extra free toaster or better service? Yes. I do. I'm supposed to have a friend today, Golden On. I'm afraid to get excited. He hadn't popped in yet and said he was going too early. So it's a hello, honey dear, honey pie, honey lamb, honey buddy, honey baby. I like that, Mr. Long and Nod. Patriot Hero got an email from them over Thanksgiving. Yeah, I heard they were updating some. So some folks probably did. I don't know if everybody did. I didn't, which means I should probably make certain I'm on that list. Not that I think I need it, but I'll take it. All right, guys, Andy should be joining at any moment. Should be joining us at any moment, so I want to do a brief one. I know I can't wait for the 10-minute mark because I am trying to maximize time with Andy when he does get here, guys. Here's your big one. The central bank confirms that the digital dinar project is under implementation. That last word, implementation, not, hey, we're going to design it. Now, that digital dinar, guys, they've talked about this. They originally called it the dinar. They put out the information on it, meaning the government, the CBI. They told us it was going to be a gold and asset-backed currency. And the physical cash would be okay. Let me try to back it up here because I've talked about this before and I want to make certain people understand it. They told us it was going to be an asset-backed digital currency. They originally floated the name dinar. You know, kind of like iPower, electronic. Anyways, so they told us it was going to be a asset-backed digital currency controlled blockchain, but kind of a decentralized thing. They can't create more willy-nilly. It has to have an asset to back it before they can make more of the currency. But they were still going. They were going to have a hybrid system because they were also going to have cash. That cash represents or is backed by the digital dinar backed by assets. They told us they were going to do this, and now they're telling us they're in the process of implementation, not design, not building it, not thinking about it. They're in the process of implementation. Their words, not mine. There you go, is under implementation. That one really had me excited this morning. I should probably leave that up for just a minute longer. Some of the other things we're going to touch on and off, depending on where we are at with Andy. And I'm just going a little fast ahead of you guys, or ahead of normal, I should say, not ahead of you guys, so that you know where we are at on that process. Central Well, government advisor, agreement between Baghdad and Erbil on least expensive path to development. This is all development road. These are things that they are working on for the HCL. So things are moving and moving forward well, not perfectly, but daggone well. Iraq's represented the United Nations. Ending UNAMI is the beginning of a new phase. Another one they dropped for us. When is UNAMI ending? Oh, wait a minute. They told us. December 31st, 2025. I was like, when's it ever going to end? We keep hearing about it going to end. We were told that's when we got paid. When they were out, it was safe, it was stable. We get our paid. I'm pretty excited. Does that mean it's absolutely going to happen on that date? No, guys. Nobody knows the timing. But based on everything we have researched for years, what the government has told us, what the UN's told us, what the bank has told, central banks have told us, the CBI has told us, what white hats, black hats, purple hats, pink, lavender, fuchsia, whatever colored, it's all coming together. Fuchsia. Maybe that's the hat we should run with. Just something different. I mean, it'd be like a Cam Newton hat, but all right. Yeah, we want Andy. Paul, I'm with you. Implementation being rolled out now. Uncle Bear, exactly. Some really positive news today. Jason, actually, implementation for them is usually shorter. It's getting ready for the implementation part that takes forever. That's like Sandlot forever. All right, some of you movie people know what I'm talking about there. Mark, I think we haven't gone yet because you're wearing the wrong color red shirt, that Indiana Who's a Wreck. Guys, what I'm wearing today, and you can't really see it, is got my Australia shirt on from down under. Yeah, give a little love to the folks down under. But see, I've even got my dingo for those. Was it my, wait, the dingoes took my baby, or the dingoes ate my baby? Another one of you pop culture people can sound off on that one. I'm guessing only a handful will understand that one. Jabril, it is. It is an American classic. Yes, it is. What will Japan increasing its interest rate do to the RV? Stephen, it really doesn't have an effect. I mean, it does and it doesn't. What it tells you, because of Japan and the U.S. is now in the same position, they've run quantitative easing for so long. Their debt to GDP ratios are so far off. They've been running zero or negative interest for so long that servicing any government debt will become pretty much impossible for Japan as they go to interest rates. They don't have a choice, or inflation's going to eat everything. This is where they have, when given a choice to protect the government and the bonds or protect the people, they have chose the government and the bonds, which means that inflation has been allowed to run for decades. They're throwing in the towel. They're saying, okay, we know it's going to fail. We know it's going to collapse, and we are just going to ride it out and protect ourselves. That's where they got when they told you they were going to raise interest rates. So I guess in a positive side, it gets us closer because it means there will be an absolute collapse for Japan, and that will spread. That'll be a systemic issue. So I guess you can take it as a positive, meaning there's always been a couple ways this thing can go. One, they do the right thing. They make it happen. They give us our reset. Two, they wait until everything collapses and they're forced to give us our reset. So Japan switching gears is that much closer to a forced reset. And the closer they get to a forced reset, the more motivation they have to go ahead and reset us. It's been done in the past. Zester, what's today? Wednesday. He should have a show today. Yes. Alack publicly announced to creditors and the public on Iraqi TV to prepare for a shock and a currency RV yesterday. Well, he did talk about a currency change. I don't think he said currency RV, but he definitely, Joe, you're spot on that one, has been talking about it. It's coming. They've been telling us that they're working on it. Now we just need to see it. Let's see. What did Frank say? Stated yesterday he's the only dinar intel broadcaster on the YouTube. Let's see. Still, if they say implementation, it's already done. Jay Branch, historically, when they say it, it is already done. Kirby, Says, please pray for my sister-in-law. My brother told us she was admitted to the hospital with difficulty in breathing. So Kirby looking for some prayers for his sister-in-law. No fresh dong news, no fresh bond news. I had one that is supposed to have a meeting today. They have been switched to a conference call this afternoon. My one that was supposed to have a meeting yesterday got pushed until Friday at, I believe it was 4 o'clock. I'd have to do the time zone crunch change, which means probably before we even have the morning podcast. That was about tariff for Doge check. Kathy, I do not think there is any chance of us getting a tariff or a Doge check before Christmas. I wish I had different news for you, but I do not want to give you false hope. I do not see how it is possible at this point. Congress hadn't approved anything, and we're sitting here at December 3rd. So unless they miraculously all show up to work, approve it today, there's no physical way for it to happen based on timing. Wish I had better news for you. Yeah, they keep discovering gold deposits, gold deposits. They just discovered the big one in Iran as well. Ooh, yeah, it looks just like you, brother. See, it's just popped on Fact News. Speculative noise sparks brief swing in Iraq's dollar rate. It's going to be a lot of that in the coming days, I think. See, money host Jules Bell on Fox said that this cash for babies investment in the stock market is the only way for the middle low class to build wealth. Zero mention of physical metals or real estate or valuable art. Odd for an expert. It's pretty sad when that approach is taken. Now, I do like the idea here. Let's see if I can find this one. For what they are referring to, folks, Michael and Susan Dell pledged $6.25 billion to seed Trump accounts for 25 million children. The goal here is to create kind of like a new IRA savings type program for children so that they start as soon as they're born. The goal is for corporations, billionaires, et cetera, to fund it so the government doesn't. Now, these funds would be invested in like index funds, safer long-term funds. My guess is some of them would go into savings bonds or T-bills or something for the government down the road. But it will go in basically at birth. You're born, bam, you got money in that account. They would put stipulations on it so you can't spend it until you reach adulthood, meaning then that's a guarantee that everybody has a great starting point in life or a decent starting point in life, much better than they have now. It's a pretty neat idea. Theoretically, in an ideal world, the government wouldn't have to do that. In an ideal world, the government wouldn't have to provide Social Security for retirement. We would do it. We would take care of ourselves. We would take care of family. It would be far more efficient if we did it. But there's this thing called human nature, and everybody putting it off. They want to leave the maximum. Like, my God, I just got paid. I got $500. They want to spend $500. They don't want to go, I just got paid. I only get to spend $350 because I got to go invest this in my future. Just not the way it works for most people. Unfortunately, some, yes. Should it work for more? Absolutely. Should I have been way better? Absolutely. Should I be better now? Yes. But it is a neat approach so that there is something. Could they use that for an education? Could they use that for a down payment on a house? What does Dell get out of this? Whoa. Let's turn this banner off. I still don't have an Andy. Hopefully he's coming soon. Let's see if I got a response. All right. No response from him yet. So what's in it for Dell? A lot of billionaires out there with a lot of extra money, a lot of pressure on them to give forward. Elon Musk does it through more technology, etc. Some do it, they give it away. Soros does it by funding revolutions and color revolutions and riots. Bill Gates uses it by doing medical experiments on children. Okay, this is all theoretical, but you get the idea. The push has been similar to what Reagan did with compassionate capitalism. where he started that whole movement saying, hey, those that have done well, you should give back to your employees. You should give back. And during Reagan, you saw a lot of companies doing just that. These larger corporations that had extreme or had like great quarters, great whatever, employees really clicking. And then they started giving large bonuses instead of holding on to it inside the corporation. They started rewarding the help. He used the bully pulpit to, well, use virtue signaling in a good way, not a negative way. And that's the same thing Trump is doing here. He's taking a Reagan book and he's using it to push billionaires instead of funding all kinds of crazy crap to help future generations. That's their incentive. I'm certain it comes with all kinds of extras. Government would be awfully happy, probably help you grease a palm for a better contract, etc. So I could see a win-win out of it. All right, guys, I do have an Andy in here, and I want to take advantage of any time he does have, especially with the crazy volatility we're seeing.
What's going on, brother? How are you?
Well, other than becoming independently wealthy with this run on silver, just kidding, not that much. I've got some silver, but not that much. I'm loving watching this.
Yeah, no doubt. It's crazy. Of course, I'm having such problems with my studio today. I'm sorry it took me so long to get logged on. Let's take some questions, man. Let's chat.
All right. Trek for Life. Andy just got funded a self-directed gold IRA through New Directions and Miles Franklin. David Sherling has been a pleasure to work with. I am a very happy camper.
David's an amazing guy, and I've known David since I was a young kid and used to live with David for a while. He'll take very good care of you. And New Direction, we've had nothing but good luck with. So appreciate that very much. And good luck on that. I hope it goes well. I'm sure it will.
The only Roy, Andy looks like he's hosting the Tonight Show. He does. He's got a much nicer studio than I have. I got to get busy. All right. Some tech questions. Is it a green screen so you can change the back?
It's a 100-inch monitor. So really? I can change the back. Yes, I can change the back. Yes.
Oh, that's kind of a cool way to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've always thought that like the green screens always left that kind of an outline. They were always a little funky to me. I used to use them and I was like, yeah, it's just not cutting it.
Yeah, it's a green screen. I mean, it's a 100-inch TV, so I can go like this. I'll show you. Where did I put that? I can just simply do this. Let's see. So I can change it to any of these that I want.
Oh.
Or I could just put on the TV if I wanted to.
Now, that would probably be better, but I'd be a little afraid to see what Kevin was watching last in the studio.
Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? Yeah, so but it definitely makes things a little bit easier.
Andy, make the screen that shows silver at $100 an ounce just in the background. People would be freaking out, right?
Right, exactly. No, I probably now look, I think you could very easily see gold at or silver at $100. You could see that very easily. As far as I'm concerned, it's moving in a direction that I never thought was possible, but we're getting close to it. So yeah, it's crazy times for sure, man.
It is. I got Rick Buck would like to thank you for your investment advice as he has started investing in Texas whiskey often. Life has been better. It's been an improvement. So he just wanted to say thank you for your
TX whiskeys is good. Advice. Yeah, man. I'm glad he liked it. I love it too. Good stuff.
And I want to know, is Kevin like calling? Is he going through the email list of customers and hitting people up? Have you seen this chat on the screen?
I hate the guy, man. I'm going to kill him. I'm absolutely going to kill the guy.
Biz posted, is it just me or does Andy look like Walter Matthau?
He was a very handsome guy when he was younger, Walter was. I'll kill Kevin for that one. He's on my shit list for that one, I'll tell you. But I get it. All's fair in love and war.
Don with a question for you, Andy. Most of my silver are silver eagles. When I see the silver spot price on a run, what type of premium should I use to place on the value of my holdings? That one's really a tough one, isn't it?
You can't really
add one or no, not really.
Yeah, you can't answer that question. as far as I'm concerned. You can't answer that question because the premium has a life of its own, and the premium is a function of supply and demand more than anything. So, in essence, premiums during the pandemic were $12, $13 over spot. Now they're half that or less. So, I mean, it changes continuously. I would just figure spot plus a few bucks to be safe, and probably higher than that.
Um, Carolyn asked this question. Well, didn't ask a question. She made a post, and it reminded me of a question I am supposed to ask you.
Yes.
Carolyn just said, I just got the Glint card and I'm excited for them. Anybody that wants to do that, go to glintpay.com/US if you're in the US, glintpay.com if you're in the UK, and it'll take you there. But their question on Glint was they were worried because Glint had posted or somebody out there had done like breakdown, and they were worried because Glint lost money its first 4 years or 5 years, and they're just now approaching break even. And I was like, no,
Mm-hmm.
they planned on this. They knew this was going to happen. They had to get to scalability. But they were worried. So like, wait a minute, does this mean my Glint holdings are at risk or any of that? So I just thought I would put that one out there for you.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're a fintech company. They were at the time a very new company that was trying to make it work. And they did, but they're starting to get traction right now, and there's a lot of their program has over $50 million invested in it in terms of the technology, and so that's why the ramp up process was the way that it was. This is just crazy.
I feel very, very comfortable with them. Question: if you believe silver's Jerry, one of my favorite authors here for you, Andy. If you believe silver is going to gain more value, would you think maybe I should try to buy more now? I know that's a tough one because you're not really giving financial advice.
I think that silver is the buying opportunity of a generation, and I do mean that sincerely, 100%. I just think that there are very few times in life where you have the upside potential that you will um, with silver. And I like to call it asymmetrical in the respect that it has very little downside and very, very high upside is kind of the way that I look at it.
I look at it as one of the safest gambles in the history of the world.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. So do I. So yeah, I think that you have very few opportunities in life where you get this kind of upside potential. At the same time, downside risk is muted as low as I've ever seen it. So yeah, I personally, I would tell you, yes, it's the place to be, 100%.
Total side note, nothing to do with this one. Angela, yes, I will be posting them. Let's see. Most of my, yeah, okay, that one really isn't a question. Comment: what I didn't know a premium cost goes on top of a spot price when selling. Well, that's a tough one. Some people will pay it, some won't. If you're selling to an individual, they'll probably pay you a bit of a premium for um like a American Silver Eagle as opposed to a round, but I don't know if many coin shops actually will.
Um, it depends. So when you talk about the premium that you're getting, sorry, I have to switch some stuff here. Uh, right now, most of the shops aren't going to pay you much of a premium at all on just about anything. And other than the American Eagles, that'll change, in my opinion, rapidly. But again, you know what? All the questions about premium are they are difficult to answer because the premium is something that keeps on changing based upon demand, and it never was that way. It was always just about supply, about production and distribution, and now it's about demand more than anything, as far as I'm concerned. Where supply and demand are having a hard time intersecting. So yeah, I would say to you that expect premiums to increase, expect them to end up being much higher than they are right now. But as of right now, you're not going to find much in the way of premium at all.
Thoughts on copper? Noticing, was it yesterday or the day before, copper hit record levels? The UCAN, just wanting to get your thoughts on copper. Could it be the next silver? I think we're a little premature myself on it being the next silver, but do I think it's becoming vastly more valuable because of its industrial uses and because of the tariffs? They don't know if they're going to have to pay big money later, so it's kind of an artificial blip on copper right now.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, if I think it certainly has upside potential, and I wouldn't try to own it physically. A lot of people ask that. It's too much of a pain in the ass to own it physically. I'd buy something like Freeport McMoran stock. But it is certainly undervalued in every way, in comparison to where it should be. These are the things that are going to define, in my opinion, the next cycle, and that will be commodities. Who's got the commodities in their possession? And copper is certainly very, very, very important in any industrialized world to build things. So yeah, I would say the high probability of copper being one of the better performing assets moving forward, I think that's very strong, as a matter of fact. So yeah, but I wouldn't buy it physically. I'd buy Freeport McMoran myself.
Oh no, I'm not opposed to somebody creating a real penny, and we'll call it one common sense or just a common sense, and see if we can just replace it. I mean, think about it. With the value of metals now, people have figured out they really support real value. You could almost replace the monetary system by just creating real pennies, real nickels, real dimes, real quarters, real half ounce pieces. I mean, you could almost change the monetary system with coins in today's world.
Yes, you could. And when you think about it, taking the penny out of the system is almost akin to
It's admitting the currency is
what
now
just
useless
happened there?
to me.
Well, what it really is you're seeing all sorts of technical difficulties here. Sorry. What it really is, to me, it's almost a form of inflation, because now prices are rising. There are no pennies, so even if it's only by a nickel that it's rising, as an example. Sorry, trying to multitask here, Mark. Even if it's only a nickel that it's rising by, or a few cents, but on every single transaction, you end up having a situation where you could say this is all about stealth inflation and loss of confidence in the system. The penny collapse, or the penny being taken out, to me is a bigger deal than people understand, and the whole system is starting to change right out from underneath us.
Yes, it is, very quickly.
There we go. Sorry, multitasking. Every time I come in here, the power was off when I walked in here this morning, and it's taken me forever just trying to get the damn thing up and running again.
Yeah, it's a tech. Welcome to it. I was just doing a little bit of research. I have to do a little more of a deep dive to figure it out, but I think roughly about 3.5 cents is what it would cost for the copper in a penny. Well, that'd be a pre-82.
Yeah.
That would be a pre-82. So yeah, I mean, theoretically, collecting old pennies would be a real bonus in today's world.
Yes, it would be, wouldn't it? Well, I think that it costs
Now,
more
the newer
money to
ones
make
are
the
pretty
damn
much all
things.
zinc with a little bit of copper for looks, not so much.
Right. No, it costs too much money to make them, and it's just not economical anymore. But that's inflation for you. I mean, I remember when we were a kid, and it used to be you'd get a gumball for a penny. Now you can't even find a gumball machine, but if you did, it would be a quarter for sure.
I was reading an interesting thing, the value of the penny. I believe I shared it, or no, excuse me, the value of the U.S. dollar since 1913. I was sharing it yesterday, I believe it was, or the day before. $1, $1 American dollar in 1913 would buy you 30 Hershey's chocolate bars.
Yeah, is that crazy? And now it wouldn't even buy you maybe one.
It won't even buy you a cup of coffee at McDonald's.
Right.
Although, believe it or not, just 10, 15 years ago, a dollar would buy you a cup of coffee at McDonald's. Not that McDonald's is the best thing here, but think about this, guys. Just in our lifetime, you used to go to a restaurant in the 80s, 90s, you get the kids a drink, it was $1.
Yeah.
And they would just
I'm
keep refilling it. Now, I mean, you go to, they're going to charge you $1 for your water.
right. And my high school in Minnesota was the McDonald's was the first one in the state, and so it was like right across the street from my high school. We had an open campus. I remember 39-cent hamburgers, 49-cent cheeseburgers, and now they're way more than that. I mean, the whole thing is it's a implosion happening right in front of us, and so yeah, it's I don't know, Mark. I just think that things are going to start to get very, very interesting. I don't think we've seen anything yet in terms of what the dollar is going to do in terms of losing its value. It's just beginning to happen as we speak.
To me, that just tells us we're going to reset because it's collapsing. I've always said that they could do the right thing, and the monetary system could all get together and go to an asset-backed value, or they can just wait for it to collapse, and they're still going to have to go to an asset-backed system.
Right. It's true. It's true.
It's history.
You're watching it happen right out in front of us. Let's see what silver doing today. They've been trying to knock it down all day.
Oh my God! What was it 2 days ago? I think it was coming into Monday morning. Watching the gymnastics they were doing, try to suppress the price, and it still pounded through. It was just awesome.
Yeah, and we got the silver futures right now right at $59 an ounce. It's a
Yes,
very, very, very unusual time right now. It truly is. It's really, really unusual where they are trying really hard to knock it down. And in my entire career, they've always been able to knock it down. They can't now. They had it down this morning, and now the futures are up to 59.04, up 33 cents. So we're knocking on the door of 60. The amount of deliveries coming into the COMEX, let me see what we got. Deliveries so far, let me see here. Stupid computer is just unbelievable. I have no idea what the hell happened to this damn thing.
yeah. Well, I mean, we're seeing so many rumors just pounding all over, and a lot of respectable people sharing those from J.P. Morgan's Gold Desk, moving all their operations to
That's
China
a
to stay
scam.
cool.
That's
And
not
that's
true.
when we go back and forth because I can find somebody knowledgeable that says so, and I can find somebody knowledgeable that says no. So I'm kind of like,
Yeah, I don't believe that to be true at all. We've seen so far in 3 days of the December contract delivery, we've seen 8,855 contracts delivered. That's 44.275 million ounces delivered in the first 3 days. Multiply that times 60, you're talking $2.5 billion worth of silver delivered in the first 3 days. So yeah, it's definitely becoming real, no question about it. I don't this is every single month that we've seen, and we've seen in terms of gold, a couple $1 billion worth of gold in the first 3 days too. So
yeah,
it
we're starting to see either seeing it happen or we're hearing companies and countries that are going to demand physical delivery now.
well, do you have a calculator? Multiply well, it might be too much.
No. I can go
2.39
sideways. I can go whatever the word is here. Give me just a
two
second.
million three hundred and
Hold on.
97,000 ounces.
All right, 2 million. How many?
397 million ounces of gold were delivered in the first 3 days. First 2 days.
Wow. Okay. So what do I
Multiply
multiply that?
that times 40. Let's see, what is gold right now? 42.30.
Let's see. Okay. This is a handful. That is 1,013,931,000,000.
That can't be right.
That's what you said, 239 million?
No, 2,397,000.
Okay. Let me back this one up. We got 2 million what?
397,000 ounces.
All right. Now we're going to go times 4230.
Yeah.
10,139,310,000. So
Okay,
10
well
billion.
that's how much was delivered in 2 days. Now this is going on every single month. And what I don't get is why we aren't seeing anybody talk about this stuff. Where is the mainstream media that's telling us about this? I have zero clue.
Yeah, where's the mainstream media telling us that central banks are buying it up, that China's sitting on arguably anywhere from 2 to 5 times the amount they are claiming? Where the media is not telling it. Where's the media telling us that Evergrande is in the process of failing again? Where's the media telling us banks are closing? Where's the media telling about the Japanese bond debacle that is going on right now?
That's one of the biggest deals of all, and I don't think people understand that. As far as I'm concerned, the world's piggy bank just broke, and that's a big deal, and I don't know how much you've talked about it, but for decades, the uh, interest rates were in Japan were at or near zero, and they fostered in what's called the yen carry trade, where people would borrow yen at very low rates and use that money to invest in higher yielding assets elsewhere. That's breaking down right now. And because the rates in Japan are rising, as is the value of the yen, and it's making those trades unprofitable, even more unprofitable as the rates keep rising. And they're unwinding these trades. So in essence, what they would do is they would have rates at zero. People would borrow yen at zero, convert to dollars, and buy Bitcoin, buy Nvidia, buy Apple, buy
Heck, just
U.S.
U.S. Treasury
Treasuries.
bonds that are paying 2 or 3%. You're paying zero. You're earning 2 or 3%. That alone's a no-brainer.
Right. And so there is $1 trillion in treasuries that Japanese pension funds hold right now. And they're unwinding them because now that the 10-year or the yield on the Japanese bond is up to 1.7%, I believe. That's a problem because when you factor in the interest rates plus the drop in the value of the dollar in relation to the yen, or the yen rising against the dollar, those trades are unprofitable, and so they're unwinding them, bringing back all of those treasuries in the form of yen to help their own economy. So they have to sell treasuries, which raises rates on the 10-year treasury. It's a very bad deal because all of the assets that have been jacked up in price through manipulation of Japanese interest rates have created massive distortions in our asset prices. And as they sell these things to bring their money back home, the unwinding will be just as bearish as it was bullish when the rates were zero and they could borrow and make these trades, which it's probably the greatest arbitrage trade of all time in history that's now unwinding. And when I say the piggy bank is broken, I mean it. This has been a piggy bank for the rich where they could borrow at next to nothing and buy all sorts of assets with very little risk. It's a very, very, very ominous sign.
D. Rogers was asking, why is it legal for them to knock it down? Meaning when they're trying to manipulate and suppress the price of silver, JP Morgan, the different big banks do it, buy and sell paper back and forth to show that it's showing at lower prices, etc. They don't actually exchange money. Why is it legal? I
Well,
mean, they've been fined and sent people to jail left and right over this over the years, but it's still highly profitable. So you just go to jail, spend your 2 or 3 years, get out and spend your billion.
Yeah, I mean, the theory behind it, I guess, is that it's not legal. Watch the interview I've mentioned on your show many times, Bart Chilton, Chris Marcus, uh, Arcadia Economics. Bart Chilton was the head of the CFTC, and he more or less was told to back down because it's a political decision when he wanted to go after JP Morgan for antitrust violation and violation of the agreement that they had in place during the Bear Stearns debacle. Um, you could argue that it's being directed from very high up, national security type of thing, but it's not legal. You have 8 banks, Western banks, that have held the largest concentrated short position of any commodity ever traded in the history of the COMEX market. Um, you know, it's not legal, but it's looked the other way for a very long time. The authorities have looked the other way. The only way you can manipulate a market over an extended period of time is to push it in the direction that it is going. And that's a very dangerous deal when things start to change, because when the world starts moving in the other direction, as they are now, standing for delivery, that manipulation, naked manipulation, becomes an existential threat to the survival of these banks who are naked shorting. I mean, you could look at what happened on Thanksgiving as a good example. On Thanksgiving night, around 10 or 11 o'clock at night, the CME group, the COMEX, shut down all trading in silver. Now, what's interesting about that, they said it was a server failure where servers, they have a server, I guess you call
Overheated.
it, yeah, server farm in Illinois, whatever you call it. It overheated. Now, there's virtually no um, volume on Thanksgiving night, late at night. The traders are not working. They're still digesting their dinner, and they're not going to work till Friday. Some of them don't even go Friday. A lot of them don't. I guess it's still a holiday. So they shut it down for about 12 hours. Now, this is right when the next day, Friday the 28th, when the December contract went off the board, people would stand for delivery of massive short positions. You got all these problems with delivery in London. You got all of this stuff happening at once, and the only servers that were affected were the metal servers. Nothing else, right? None of the forex or the interest rate or the equity. None of the other servers were affected. It's just like the reaction in London with the nickel market. They're panicked, and at the same time, there is a rumor. That's a rumor. I can't substantiate it. That some Asian trader stood for delivery on 400 million ounces of silver. What? Where the hell is that coming from? I don't know if that's true or not, because
Yeah,
that's way
I mean,
more.
that's like 7-8% of the total world supply. I mean, it's something up there. I mean, it's
Yes, it is. It is. And so, I mean, I can't validate it one way or the other, because that's more than it's on Comex, but that is the rumor. Any way
yeah,
you look at it, the amount of silver that obviously, stood for delivery was enough to make them shut down the exchange and say it's an overheated server in a very, very, very thinly traded market where that thing ain't getting overheated. And these server farms have double and triple redundancy, but yet nothing else. No other servers got messed up, just that one. Just tells you we're getting very close to the end game as far as I'm
there's a
concerned.
question for you, because we have a lot of countries now and treasuries, et cetera, that are attaching a higher and higher value to silver, whether not really a tier one, but you're starting to see them look at it as a monetary vehicle. Banks already been doing it as an asset. Gold, they make that's a tier one. At what point are we close, do you think, with them looking at silver the same way as gold? I don't mean the same value, but the same way. In other words, stop industrial or strategic. The U.S. announced that it's now a strategic, which is kind of a step in that direction. Um,
It's
just kind of your
critical.
thoughts
They
on that
they
one.
call it a critical mineral. Um, but the European Union did it in 2023, and we're seeing now China come back and do something very similar in response to this. Basically saying we're going to limit all exports. Anything that's exported has to go through Beijing first and get a permit. The world is realizing that it's about he or she who has the commodities that wins, and that's the most important thing to keep in mind. This is a race for the world's commodities, and it starts out slow. but then goes much, much faster before the music stops. So that's what you see happening right now is a realization on all levels that the commodities are what you need to make the world go round.
And that look, every time they've done kind of like a monetary reset around the world throughout even ancient history, that's what would happen. Certain countries would start focus on controlling commodities. Even if you look back to Denmark, they wanted to control the shipping and control of purchasing or selling of commodities from different countries when their currency was in the middle of exploding. It to me, it's I'm just watching history, wash, rinse, repeat. Just this time we have cool internet and Netflix.
Ah, well, it's true. I mean, it's true, and I don't know. I think we are entering a new cycle where you save in dollars, you're going to go broke. The dollar is being debased right out from under us, and the biggest, smartest money in the world is absolutely sprinting to take possession of physical metals, and they're doing it, and all commodities like copper, but they are sprinting to do just that. I don't know. I honestly believe we haven't seen anything yet as to where this is all going.
I don't think so either. All right, I know we got limited time. I don't know how limited it is with you today. Um, do you have time to squeeze in a couple?
Yes, I do.
All right, Cat John, no one has ever answered the question about which agency sets the rates for metals and how do you trust them?
Well, there is no agency that sets the rates for metals. Supposedly it's a free market. It's a market that is traded globally. Um, so yeah, there is no agency that's setting prices. There are those that help manipulate said prices, but this is a market that's trading 24/7 and is not set by any institution.
Yeah, a lot of these. There's so much false information running out there. Is XLM some kind of equivalent to silver? No. That when it comes to cryptos and people claiming certain ones are backed when they're not. And there's some out there that are backed with things like metals and assets, but boy, there's a lot of misinformation out there on that front.
A hundred
Aha.
percent.
Haha. I like this one from Frank. Does this mean the metals market's in a meltdown? Haha, pun intended.
Um, no, it doesn't. It means that the metals market is on a melt up more than anything.
Flying Squirrel, once again, just like I said earlier, there's nothing I can do to get you an email from General 64. We'll talk about that when we don't have Andy. Totally not on the subject right now. Um,
I don't know what that means.
yeah, it's let's see. Is having silver via glint as good as taking physical possession? It's different.
No, it's different. I don't think they're very, very different. I mean, silver with physical possession, you have no counterparty risk. Having anything that isn't in your possession is not, in my mind, quite as good as having it, uh, letting someone else have custodianship.
Cat John, bigger question. Why do coin shops take your fee out for hard metals unless it's to launder for gold themselves? Guys, it's just a business. Don't overthink it.
Yeah,
Take
that's
advantage
the
of it.
but that's very well said, Mark, because it isn't. People ask me that all the time. Well, if it's so valuable, why are you taking my dollars for it? Because I'm running a business, and the same thing is true there. They're running a business, and there's nothing wrong with that. What are you doing with your profits? Well, I'm putting it into physical metal for myself. That's a bigger question as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, it's don't overthink it is a good way of saying it.
Yeah, don't overthink it. Sometimes it's just as simple as the obvious explanation. Sarah, why do companies charge $10 to mill an ounce of silver? Well, they got to pay somebody to package it. They got to pay somebody to insure it. They got to pay somebody to create the tracking ticket. They got to pay the company that actually ships it. It's cost of doing business. We don't have to like
This
it, but
this is true. This is
turn the
exactly
lights
true.
on. You got to pay the insurance. You got to have the physical location to store it. I mean, it's business.
This is exactly true. 100%.
Yeah, or look at
I'm
it.
sorry, by the way. I mean, I'm sorry. I seem distracted. I am not trying to be. I'm having such issues with this. I'm always here alone too, and I come in here, the freaking power's out, and everything is fucked up. It's just enough to drive me insane, man. I'm so sorry. Not trying to be rude. I'm really not.
No,
I'm just
no, no,
trying to
not taking it.
get this shit back up and running. It's enough to literally give me a heart attack. It's so
All right.
annoying.
Seems very obvious to us, to most of the world, that the monetary system worldwide is changing, collapsing, evolving, whatever word you want to use for it. But Pamela wants to know, Andy, after reset, change, whatever it is, do you think the metals will fall, or have any idea where the floor would be? I don't think they're going to fall.
No, I don't think they'll fall. I mean, I think that the very premise of a reset, they'll just be repriced into a new system. I think that's more likely
I think that's the
to.
way. But a lot of people, if you look at them and say, yes, but your US dollar is worth this much, it buys that much, but now they reprice it.
Yes,
You're measuring stick. You got to think of it a different way. I got to come up with a good way of explaining that when your ruler changes, but it's still the same length. It's just made up of different measurements. Let's just say that's a good old fashioned 12-inch ruler. In the past, they just added more inches to the same ruler. So instead of having, 12 inches, it had 24 on it, but it wasn't any
it,
longer.
correct.
So
That's
you have
exactly right.
to adjust that. It's the number of measuring marks on it. The amount is still the same.
Correct. That's right. That's exactly right.
I just got to find a good way to explain how they do that one. Just like they do with overprinting, and our money becomes worth less and less and less and less and less, and the penny becomes worth less, is because they keep printing more of it, but not adding more goods to be represented. So it's just inflation.
That's exactly right.
It's the difference between taking a large pizza and cutting into 12 slices or 6 slices.
This is exactly right. No, you're right.
And it confuses people. What happens if we go back to 6 slices instead of the 12 that we've been cutting out of it? It's confusing.
It is, but well said. And I think that the whole world is going to start to change the way that we look at things and the way that we calculate things. And I would rather value my wealth in number of ounces than in dollars these days. What does that say? I'm with Strata Wood switching to. I mean, I'm not. Strata is fine. It doesn't matter which. It doesn't matter which custodian you're with. We can still work with you and help you.
Yeah, this one's a tough one because it really is kind of a gut guess, but I like the question. Andy, with the financial news out of Japan,
Uh-huh.
their bond quake that's going on, the switching to interest rates going to positive interest. I mean, they've even had negative. I mean, a lot of news coming out of Japan. If you had to put a timeline on how long global economies can pretend everything is fine, what would you guess? I mean, I've been stunned they've been able to pretend this long.
I think they're starting to unravel right in front of us. I don't know how long it'll be, but um, I think it's happening right now. The shifts are being made right now, right in front of us. Son of a bitch.
I kind of wait. No, that's not the one I was looking for. This is the one I was looking for by Splurge. When will Andy invite Michelle McCory to sit in on one of these Wednesdays so she can introduce herself and answer questions?
I
Yeah,
don't.
that might be a good way to get more people to watch her when she's doing stuff so they get familiar with her.
That's not a bad idea. I can invite her anytime. I'll invite her next time. See if she's traveling right now, so I unfortunately am not sure what her schedule is, but I will invite her on one of these occasions.
Sabic, why did I not think of this one? Sabic, it's the same as a yardstick with inches on one side and centimeters on the other.
Um,
When we were talking about changing the measuring stick and inflation, et cetera, great examples, just a good old fashioned ruler yardstick where it's standard inches and then it's centimeters on the other. You come up with a totally different number, but the length is the same.
yes, that's true.
That's a great example.
I like that. That's very true. I like that.
So does this mean that the global economies are the whole jar of queso moment?
Yeah, probably. Probably. I think that's a fair way of saying it.
Yep. You always get invited to whiskey. That's what we'll just get Michelle to join us for a whiskey and wisdom.
I'm sure will come. She's
Which would be
awesome.
kind of fun because then I can tell everybody I took Michelle out for a drink.
Yeah.
Hot.
I'm sure she'll come. I'll get her to join one of these days.
That would be fun. What impact will the new Fed chair have on metals? We are seeing that. I think Hassett is leading the charge right now in the preliminary. Your take on that?
I don't know that any Fed chair is going to have a massive take on the value of the metals, to be honest with you. Anyone that Trump brings in is going to be about dollar debasement, like Stephen Mirren, as an example, who is the architect of the Mar-a-Lago Accord. So I would argue that anyone that comes in is going to be friendly to gold because it's going to be about a devalued dollar.
That makes sense
Finally
because that makes sense because in order to do that, they need to revalue the metal.
Correct. That's right.
Although I very much believe that Trump, he's going to take his better positions, better people, and try to install them at Treasury more so than the Fed. I think I could be wrong on that one. That's a gut feeling.
Well, he's already got Stephen Mirren at the Fed, who was his one of his advisors. He's the architect of the Mar-a-Lago Accord, and so that's he's putting his people all over the place in terms of Bo Hines, like at the CEO of USA Tether, and this is his crypto czar until August. Now he's running USA Tether, so that's the state behind the stablecoin bill. That's the primary benefactor. The whole thing is he's putting his people where they need to be.
I do think he's very much doing that. He's putting some because of emergency dictates he's got to put them there, but I think he's, for the most part, trying to put his best people what he considers the most strategic location. Kirby with a question. Andy, will there be a point where buying silver won't be recommended? I would imagine after it corrects as opposed to gold.
Point.
But
markets move in cycles, and silver will have its cycle too. Mark, you're going to kill me. I do need to go.
No.
I am so this is the worst ever because I was so distracted. I came in and literally the whole thing was upside down. I had to have my cameras remotely reconfigured, and my computer that I'm looking at right now, which has all of my notes, the notes are way off into the corner and I can't get them correct. I'm sorry, dude. Really am.
You're golden, man. You're golden.
I promise you, I'll be back next
silver.
week. I will be back next week and I'll give you my full attention. And I know I haven't been here a lot. I've been traveling for the last couple of weeks for crazy things over and over and over again. I just want to tell you I'm sorry that I'm not fully here mentally today because, of course, the day I come in, I'm here all alone trying to figure this out on the fly. So please, please, please forgive me.
No. We absolutely enjoyed it. You did much better than you give yourself credit for. You always do.
I'm multitasking. Trying to do 9 things at once. It ain't easy.
Oh, you're trying to be a housewife.
Yes, exactly. I don't know about that.
That's not an easy job.
Mark, man, I will be back. Please forgive me, everyone. I'm very, very sorry. And
just
I got
in
somewhere.
Case, I'll send you a whiskey and wisdom link just in case.
I'll try and come on with Josh tonight. I'm having dinner with my parents and he'll be there. So maybe he and I can jump in.
I do think it would be awesome to be able to introduce Josh on the screen.
Maybe even my dad too. So
that would be epic.
Send me a message. See you, brother.
Take care. We'll do. All right, guys, that was Andy Schectman, and Cat John, I am totally with you. I'd much rather see Fort Knox gold audit than the Epstein list. Not that I want to see both. I'm not saying one way or the other, but I think we already know pretty much that Epstein was slime and probably worked with intelligence agencies, which means our governments or the governments of those intelligence agencies are slime too. Period. You don't get to reinvent that one just to ease your conscience. All right, where are we at here? We talked about a couple. We had really was pounding through stuff before Andy joined us. I'm going to wrap a couple of these things real quickly, and then I will call it a wrap until 7 this evening for a brief news update and whiskey and wisdom. Trump warmly thanks. Nominate me for Nobel Peace Prize. Okay, Sudani nominated Trump for a Nobel Peace Prize after the work that he has done between Iran and Israel. Thought this one was very interesting. What else have we touched on this? Prime Minister stresses the importance of restructuring Iraq's state-owned bank in order to advance them. They actually got into some of the details of how they are restructuring them and their private banking industry and the ones that were previously state-controlled as they transition them. I bring this one up because it is another one of those things mentioned or talked about, shouldn't be say mentioned, talked about in their white paper reforms, their white reforms as they call them, so that they can lift their purchasing power. So we are watching steps of that, step after step after step. We touched on that one. We touched on that one. The world's largest U.S. consulate opens in Erbil. Spent $800 million building this hardened structure, fancy structure, capable structure, but in the Kurdish region at Erbil. Makes me wonder. I mean, the U.S., you see almost like they are treating Iraq as two different countries right now. You see that extreme interest in Syria as well. I find that very interesting, both timing, etc. Is the U.S. positioning Iraq to become multiple countries or something? Maybe they're looking at a possibility of a change of map lines in the entire region. I just find it very interesting, and I want to know if anybody else sees something. I don't know where it's leading, but when I look at all the circular pieces and parts and disconnected things, I think there's a pattern, and I'm trying to pick it up. Is it bomb-proof? I think portions of it are bomb-proof. Bewitched, that is certainly a question. If we fund for our children, who's the guarantee won't be stolen like they did with Social Security, right? No, I'm with you. All right, let's keep running. Barzani, the U.S. consulate is an impregnable fortress, and we support Trump with peace through force. They really do seem to be embracing some Reagan-esque logic around the world right now. Trump tells Netanyahu, don't hinder Syria's stability in a rare rebuke. Trump seems to be more and more willing to butt heads with Netanyahu and still support the Israeli people. I find this to be encouraging because I believe every country should be sovereign and take the interest of its people first. Venezuela announces U.S. ordered forced sale of oil company to Citgo. So a number of companies and folks are owed a lot of money from the Venezuelan company Citgo. So they are pushing to force a sale. Of course, Venezuela is very upset, but chopping up its U.S. interests so that it can pay its bills. Kind of like a forced bankruptcy sale, but not really a bankruptcy sale. Billions of dollars owed. So they are looking to force a sell for around $6 billion. I think it was 5.9 if I remember the numbers correctly. Don't even know if that was in this particular article. The timing, at the same time, Luke Oil being sold, assets in Iraq, seems to be a lot of juggling of worldwide assets going on right now. The timing to me is just very interesting. I'm still trying to piece together the why. Explosion rocks part of Russia's strategic Druzhba pipeline, all caught on camera. Why is this important? That pipeline is a major supplier to Central Europe. So the Ukraine, while striking at Russia to cripple Russia, is crippling Europe. We're talking about it's going to be very difficult for German industries, German people to have heating this winter as they go into what looks like is going to be a colder than normal winter in much of Europe. And now Germany, Hungary, Romania. I mean, you look at just, well, here, map shows, can I make it bigger there? I can make it bigger for you. What just gets affected on this one? Of course, heck, for that matter, it's going to cause some problems in some of the Ukraine as well. But where they did where the explosion happened is going to seriously cripple energy in Central Europe. it's going to get tougher and tougher. Why I'm pointing this out, it's going to get tougher and tougher for the Ukraine to ask Europeans for money and support when they're taking this tactic. I totally understand why they're doing it, but I don't think they are looking. They're going to have zero allies from the people. The governments may still support them because they're going to get heat. The people are going to go without. You're not going to watch a prime minister. You're not going to watch a president in one of these European countries go without heat and food. You're not going to watch them lose their job because they can no longer fire up the plants or the assembly lines. But it's the people that will suffer greatly over this one. I think you're going to lose. The already waning public support is going right out the door. And this is just the latest nail in that coffin. Zelensky's meeting with U.S. envoy canceled after no real progress. 5-hour Moscow talks. Russia and the U.S. say they are still making tough, grudging, but good progress, and they're in a better position now than they were before, not worse. But they don't have anything to take to Zelensky. In other words, Ukraine and UK still fighting over maps, etc. They are making some. They are getting some compromises on this front. I truly believe we're about to see the U.S. walk away from that one until Russia have at it and no longer send support. I think that's where we're getting. We already talked about that one. Trump administration halts immigration processing from 19 countries. They talked about it. They have done it. And in that one, for some of the folks that are already here that may have already gone through Biden's approval process, they're having to go back through. They may have another interview. Some of the materials that were rubber stamped are now going to get checked, meaning background checks, etc. And everything is being frozen during that period. The countries or the folks from the countries that are being affected are these. Nations affected: Myanmar/Burma, Chad, the Republic of the Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Haiti, Iran, Libya, Sudan, Yemen, Burundi, Cuba, Laos, Sierra Leone, Togo, Turkmenistan, and Venezuela. Memorandum places a hold on all forms I-589s, application for asylum and withholding of removal, meaning they would be able to remove them. Pending. Well, I shouldn't even say pending. If they don't pass, they can remove them. If they're in process, the process is done, they can remove them. And they're doing this for the safety of the people. Even if the safety is perceived, it does lead towards more safety. I know this seems strange, but if you think about it logically, it will make a lot of sense. DeSantis to call for a special session for congressional redistricting. This, in my opinion, is Trump reaching out to similar thinking supporters. I'm not certain what the word I'm searching for here is, or the best word for it, I should say. I told you that the goal, well, I shouldn't say the goal, this administration was going to force things legally, to force the courts to qualify, to decide on separation of powers, who has what, who has not, because we've had such a politicized, weaponized judicial system of late that they are forcing these things to be. We've had so many activist judges that they're forcing these things to be decided. And here's DeSantis as well, which is going to help force the Supreme Court to hear things on the Texas redistricting, because we had a lot of just district courts ruling, holding, etc., trying to write law when they can't write law. They can only interpret. So this is another move, in my opinion, to see this forced before the midterms. Supreme Court's going to have to make a hard decision on this one. I have kind of a love-hate relationship on the DeSantis side, but I very much like that he is willing to go to toe-to-toe on this one. Sometimes I love him, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'm like, what in the heck did you do? And sometimes I'm like, boom. Ellie, I think it's going to make what the states have done pretty moot. I think it's going to make them pretty moot. All right, that's what I wanted to get covered this morning. Birthdays. My first birthday here is going to be Joey, a.k.a. Dr. Joseph Salama. Your good buddy Fred wants you to have an awesome birthday. I don't know whether to call you Joey or Dr. Joe or Dr. Joseph or Dr. Salama. I don't know which one to call you, but Joey, daggone it, happy birthday. Who else is celebrating? Tammy, what's the dinar and dong rate right now? Pennies, what is it? $42 US will buy you 1,000,000 Vietnamese dong. About, what is it? $1 will buy you 1,310 Iraqi dinar. Value hasn't changed, unless you were meaning expected. Oh, look, you just said it, Fred. I just said it. We were thinking at the same time. We're going to run with Dr. Joe. Bill and Linda celebrating their anniversary. I see Chris in Blossburg. Good to see you. Who else is celebrating? Somebody. Don't make Dr. Joe do it himself. Yeah, right now it's looking like he's the only one. All right, if you're celebrating, sound off. If not, I'm singing so I can get on with the workday and be back this evening. So they tell me it's your birthday. Well, happy birthday, darling. May you live, may you love, may all your dreams come true. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. To all those celebrating. Sandra's mom just turned 92 last Sunday. That was a pretty cool one. Doodle dad's 75 today. Let's see, what did Valentina have to say? Musk was in a meeting in Saudi Arabia stating one day we will no longer require currency. Host asked to explain further. He said nothing. He's right. At some point we won't need it. We're not there yet, though, and I believe we are still decades away. Someone keeps asking when the first med beds came out. I don't have any answer for you. I couldn't tell you. I haven't been able to sit one. I've been able to experience a lot of ones where I think it's the early technology from BMF, magnetic this, red light that, but a full-blown real med bed, I don't know what to tell you. I just hope I get to sit in one soon and walk out of it. Happy birthday, Ellie. I see that birthday. Randy, no, the Asian one should be faster than it took in Europe. From everything I've been told. Ellie, Big 10 today. That's awesome. Dance out of you. That's right. I'm gonna be doing a jig. I'm gonna be doing the river dance. I'll be doing, like, what's that, like kicking my legs up? Whatever that one was. All right, that's it. I'm out of here. Anybody celebrating, happy birthday. Sound off with your friends and look forward to seeing folks this evening at 7 for a brief news update before Whiskey and Wisdom. Take care, guys. Mods, thank you all. Went exceptionally well today on that front. Thank you.